I respect the man. As the Empire's second most powerful man, my father came from humble roots. He was born to a peasant couple during the Dubois Wars, a civil war in High Rock that happened decades ago. During the war, the exiled Princess of Shornhelm, Adelise, was wounded in an assault. My grandparents found her while they were hunting in the wilds. After knowing who she was, they decided to give her safe shelter until she could regain strength and continue the fight against Dubois. But, to their detriment, Dubois' soldiers eventually found her. They slaughtered everyone in the village. Blood ran in the river on that day. My grandparents died saving Princess Adelise, and in return, she promised to raise their infant son in their stead. The Princess of Shornhelm was good to her word. After she joined forces with Emperor Saturnius to defeat Dubois, she made my father her ward. Hence, Adelise became the Queen of Shornhelm, and my father sort of became a prince. There is no one who is as honorable as he is. This path hasn't always been easy for him. If you've read the books about my father, perhaps you may understand his struggles. It is a very long story. Better if you read the books yourself. But if you're a bit more specific, I can entertain. He was named Champion of Cyrodiil after he crushed the Aurelius Rebellion. But before that, he had already contributed tremendously to the Empire. The Blanchett Rebellion, Titus II's succession to the Ruby Throne, and of course, there's the Great War. Without him, the Empire would have ended. It was the greatest civil war the Empire had ever suffered in the Fourth Era. To make it worse, it happened right after the Great War ended. The Empire was barely recovering, and that dog, the deposed High Chancellor Aurelius, seized the moment when the Empire needed aid the most. First, he summoned his private army. Then, he employed the Red Guard mercenaries from Hammerfell. He even persuaded a large number of peasants to join his cause, claiming the Emperor tyrannic, for he increased the taxes for the Empire's rebuild. The Nibonese counts and countesses, already dissatisfied with the Mede dynasty, quickly joined Aurelius. As time passed, his forces grew larger. The Imperial Legion was outnumbered by the rebellion. The war would have been a certain loss for the crown, under the odds. But my father, somehow, his brilliant strategies turned the tides. Victories over victories, the Salvian name became an inspiration to the Legion. In the end, that cowardly traitor Aurelius and his conspirators were forced to hide inside Cheydinhal's castle, awaiting justice to come. Amulius Salvian became a literal champion of Cyrodiil by winning an impossible war. It was only a matter of days until he officially got the title. At the time my father became champion of Cyrodiil, the seat of High Chancellor belonged to Lord Otho Vici, whose family presides Coral. Due to some personal feuds, Emperor Titus didn't choose my father to be High Chancellor when Aurelius was deposed. Instead, he chose Lord Vici. But by the time their friendship was repaired, the Emperor was already married to Lord Vici's daughter. Replacing Lord Vici wouldn't make sense. Nonetheless, a few years later, Lord Vici died of old age, and naturally, my father became the only logical successor to the seat of High Chancellor.